Okay, wall jumping. You may have noticed from the last episode, if I quickly click play, that the player, once you're sliding down the wall, gets stuck at the bottom and will only fall off when you let go. Now, if you want that functionality in the game, that's fine, you don't need to do this step. But the reason is because the box collider has a built-in friction value. So to get rid of that, we've got a materials folder with a material that has no friction on it at all. If we just drag that into the box collider material section, now if we click play, jump and climb the wall, one you'll notice is sliding a lot faster and you slide straight off the wall. Okay, so with that taken care of, we can now look at creating our wall climbing script. So if you want to go to the player modules wall folder, we'll create a new C# script called wall jump. And once that's compiled, we'll damn Visual Studio, it's so annoying. We'll open it up in Visual Studio and we'll start creating a script. So first things first, variables. Okay, we'll paste those in. So we've got a float to tweak the jump height, which I've called division factor. We've got a public wall for the animator and the player controller, so we can wall jump. This division factor will basically reduce the jump multiplier that you've given in the player controller. We've then got the private ball that this getter is referring to, and as usual we've got a couple of references, one to our collisions and one to our player controller script. So in the start method we need to get these references, so we'll just grab those. Okay, it's the usual col get collisions blah blah blah, we've done that quite a few times. Okay, and here we need to check if we're on the ground, and if we're on the ground or the player can't move, because we're going to lock the player's movement, we're going to reset the wall jump to false. So let's paste that in. Okay, so we're going to check if col is grounded or player controller can move, and if we meet those conditions we're going to set wall jump to false. In here we need a method to the wall jump and a coroutine to stop the player moving whilst we're doing the wall jump. Okay, so I'll first of all we'll do the wall jump method. Okay, so what we're going to do is start and stop the coroutine, and we're going to disable the player movement for 0.2 seconds. If you want to put a serialized float up there so you can change the time, it's entirely up to you, but this is perfectly fine being hard coded. We're then going to create a new vector 2 which is going to take the player facing direction, but we're going to put a negative sign in front of it so it reverses it by 0, and we don't need to normalize that. That was where I was playing about with other bits and pieces, because that's just going to be 1 or -1, but I was messing about with bits and pieces in here. Okay, so once we've created our vector, we're going to tell the player controller to jump. We're going to pass in vector 2 up divided by our division factor, and then we're going to add the wall jump direction, which will be the opposite direction that the player's facing. So we're dividing our jump height basically with this division factor. We're going to flip the player controller and we're going to set wall jump to true. Okay, so now we're going to create the coroutine, and this is a method that will simply run in the background, and basically it takes a float and it's going to disable the player movement. It's going to wait for the time specified, and then it's going to re-enable the player movement again. Okay, so if you'd like to pause the video and type that out. Okay, there's the wall jump function. There's start and update. And there's the variables that we need. We can now save that, jump into our player controller. We need to find our jump function, which is here, and we're going to need to create a new jump function in here that calls the wall jump. So we need to go right up to the top, type in I don't understand why that's not seeing wall jump. Because I haven't denamespaced it. So let me cut that out and unnamespace that, because I'm sure you don't want my namespace stuff in your player controller. Now we should be able to call wall jump. And as usual, we grab a reference to it. Yet again, I'm all butterfingers, and I do these videos generally late at night when everyone's asleep, because it's the only time I get any peace. Okay, we now need to jump down into fixed update, and we cut that, and we need to create an if statement to check if we're not wall jumping. If we're wall jumping, we're going to disable the player movement in the controller. So if not wall jump dot wall jumped, we can just paste that into there. As it's a single statement, we don't actually need to put it in curly braces. But if you've got anything more than two conditions in the if statement, then you'll need to put the curly brackets. But if we're just doing this one thing, we don't need to do that. Okay, so if we now click save, and we go into our jump function, which is on jump, we need to paste the wall jump method in here. Okay, so like I said, we need a method to do our wall jump. So we're going to check if we're touching the wall and touching a ledge, and we're not grounded, and wall climb is wall grabbing, so we're grabbing the wall. Do the wall jump. And that should be all we need. I'm not sure if I've said, but I've tied the wall jump into wall grabbing. So it will only you can only wall jump if you're grabbing the wall. But I think if we now save that, jump back into Unity, drag our wall jump onto our player script and click play. If I haven't missed anything out, which there's a good chance I have, we should now be able to jump up the walls, slide down them, grab them, walk up, walk down. So yeah, that seems to be working great. Right, okay, so we'll end this episode here then. Now we've got a wall climb, wall jump and slide. The next thing to add would be ledge grabbing. So we'll take a look at that in the next episode. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Come and join me in the Discord channel, and I will see you in the next episode.